Mike's all right.
2AY. Now, in an Australian first, we're proud to do the same on the country's best netball courts. Welcome to O&M Live Netball on 1494 2AY.
G'day and welcome to O&M Live Netball from McRae Motors. My name is Hannah Davies and today I'm joined by Ree Dolahenty for another Saturday of netball. This time we're at the Albury Sports Ground for a 7th versus 3rd battle between the Albury Tigers and the Yarrawonga Pigeons. Ree, it's great to have you here as always in the rain today. How you going?
I am great. I am actually feeling ecstatic that I do not have to layer down and get into a dress and get onto that court. Particularly, we just watched the end of the B grade game and the rain subsided for about 10 minutes and it looked like it was going to dry up, and it's just started to drizzle right as both teams have taken the court to start their warm-up. So everyone looks a little bit chilly, but I'm sure within a few minutes they will all warm up. How are you going today, Han?
Oh, look, very good. It's always interesting to be down in the rain. But, you know, I think both teams and pretty much all the teams are really used to it, Ree. I'm sure you know yourself that you just get on with it and warm up well and stay warm. There's some blankets around some of the players' legs, you can see.
Any of that extra protection. But this week marked Reconciliation Week for the traditional custodians of our land. So I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the Wiradjuri people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we broadcast from today, and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend this respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today, whether that be in your ears or on the Facebook live stream, coming to you from YouTube as well. So yeah, it's great to be here. Obviously, Albury, before the bye, they had that 1-goal loss to Lavington. Yarrawonga sitting nice and comfortable in 3rd position. So Albury today are going to hope that all the games fall in their favour and they could notch up a top 5 position.
Yeah, Ree, what a game that was. For Albury in particular, you can tell that in the recent weeks they've found their starting 7 and they're just gelling. I think huge credit to Sky Hillier. I think she's worked really hard in the first few rounds to find what combination would work, and I think that, you know, the 1-point loss to Lavington, who we've been saying are the, you know, kind of the premiership favourites along with Corowa. So, you know, coming up against Yarrawonga today, I think anything could kind of happen.
I do, and I think the wet just changes netball for everyone. Obviously, it's a little bit slipperier underfoot. We've just seen that there is a little bit of mishandling and error can come in. So I think it will be definitely a game of a centre pass and then converting any turnovers. They're going to be imperative in those 2 positions again against the likes of Kylie Leslie or Laura Irvine, Jetta Nolan, whoever it is that runs through Tilly Kennedy through that mid-court position. So very interesting. And Corowa, they lost wing attack Liv Sinclair during the O&M Interleague game on the weekend during the bye, an Achilles injury. So there's a season-ending injury for her, and we wish her all the best. I know surgery coming up and she's banging to get back into the rehab to get out there. So that'll be interesting for Corowa. They're taking on bottom-placed Bulldogs today, which is probably a good thing for them in that they can start to mould some different combinations, because they are building up to then, I think in a few weeks we see them take on Lavington, which I think will be that real marker for that top of the table.
It's also probably good timing for the Bulldogs too, because they didn't have anyone play in that interleague battle. So, you know, they've had the week off, extra training, kind of a rest a little bit, so it could play in their favour to possibly not beat Corowa. Let's be real, they're an incredible team so far this season, but to, give it a shot.
And a credit to the Wodonga Bulldogs. Cassie Mathy has been given the Rising Star nomination for this month. So she's been imperative in their shooting circle. She's been putting up the majority of their goals most weeks. She's young, she's really strong, and she actually holds really well. So I think there are good things to come for the Bulldogs. So today, in the wet though, it will really slow Corowa down, but I expect that Corowa will keep that record at the top of the table.
So Yarrawonga, third on the ladder, Ree, and you were saying to me earlier that you feel like we haven't seen their best yet.
And I think that they would probably attest to that as well, but I just don't think that they have been as consistent as they would like. They've put together probably 2 or 3 good quarters here and there, but they haven't been able to close out games. The game when they played against Corowa, they were there, they were in front, they were behind. It got out to about 9 goals that they were down by, to only lose by 4 or 5 in the end. And key personnel coming back in. We've got Sarah Moore. She was Sarah Sanini coming back in today from an injury. So obviously not the ideal conditions to be coming back from injury, but I expect to see that rotation of her, Bridget Cassar and Maddie Allen, who has really come into her own. She's warmed into the competition, and her and Bridget Cassar, when we last saw them play, they started to really work well together. And Maddie Allen took some beautiful shots from about that halfway region in that goal shooting circle. So yeah, I expect to see big things from them. And yeah, I just think Yarra's consistency, again, probably in this wing attack centre role. Laura Irvine's there steady in the centre, but trying to nail that wing attack to really cement that combination and get the great feed coming into their shooters is something that they'll be really looking to really cement today and in the coming weeks.
So while we're talking about the Yarrawonga Pigeons lineup, let's take a proper look at it. So in goal shooter, we've got Bridget Cassar, Maddie Allen. Wing attack, Kylie Leslie. Ree, we haven't seen her as much in there, but the past few weeks we showed some good signs.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've traditionally seen Kylie Leslie run through the goal defence, wing defence position, but can also take on that feeding role. And I'm thinking probably her speed and her ability to defend in attack as well is highlighted there. So she will start there. We can see Tilly Kennedy is on the bench as well. So I expect to see her injected either into centre or wing attack at some point.
And centre is Laura Irvine, the captain coach. Laura Ryan, another really great performer in the last few weeks. In wing defence, goal defence, Annalise Grinter, goalkeeper Olivia Lovell, and like you said, Tilly Kennedy and Sarah Moore on the bench for Yarrawonga. So a really great 9 players they've got today.
Yeah, a strong 9, and I think we've spoken about every week just an experienced squad. So anyone that they can put on the court has a number of games under their belt. I think too, Annalise Grinter and Olivia Lovell, they've been very quiet achievers. They just chip away at the ball. They do the little things well and manage to get ball to hand. So I'm really interested to see how they play against a holding shooter like Alison Miani, which we'll get to the Tigers lineup in a second. And obviously then the movement of Sky Hillier. So how they attempt to combat that will be really, really interesting.
So for the Albury Tigers, our home team today, we've got Alison Miani in goal shooter, Sky Hillier, the coach, in goal attack, Emily Rodd in wing attack. She's kind of moved from that goal attack to a wing attack now, and I think it's been one of the best moves they've made.
And I think that was highlighted in that first quarter against Lavington before the bye. I mean, they were up 8-1, and I think she pretty much fed all of those balls. She was really dynamic. We spoke about as well that often a lot of those shooters make really good feeders because they know where they want the ball. She hit the circle edge really well, and again, she's really strong-bodied. So that work that Laura Ryan does in wing defence for Yarrawonga will be imperative against the likes of an Emily Rodd in wing attack.
And she'll be joined in centre with Kristen Andrews and Heidi Fisher in wing defence, 2 of the fittest players in this competition. They will just run and run. So I'd love to see them play the full 60.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's been a credit to Sky Hillier the last few weeks, is just to really build that combination. Heidi Fisher was in and out with injury the first few weeks. There was a bit of illness for Kristen Andrews as well. So I think they're both back to being 100%. They can run, as you said, all day. They're both as fit as anything. So if they can really match up the speed and just slow the ball down, so really go at it hard against the Yarrawonga Pigeons, but then stop, take an extra second to give the pass off, particularly in these conditions, that will be where the game's won and lost.
And of course, finishing up the lineup is Sarah Mellington, the Albury-Wodonga Bandit, who I wonder if we'll see play tonight. We weren't sure if she's going to be playing today.
Yeah, and I would expect to. They're going so well, the Lady Bandits. So great to see, and I think a few of the Tigers girls might go and get around her tonight as well.
Definitely. And Sarah Jones in goalkeeper. And that's Karina Cameron.
And I expect probably a few B graders. I can see, who have we got? Lily Howe, I think, who played in the under-17s O&M Interleague team last weekend as well, and she just shot beautifully in B grade as well. So there's a couple there hidden under a blanket, but they'll be looking to really work with that core 8 or 9 because they've found those couple of combinations that work, and I don't think they want to stray too far from that.
So, Ree, we announced this week on the O&M Live social medias our team of the year so far. Look, it was pretty hard to put together, let's be real.
Yeah, and to try and think of all the clubs that we'd seen as well, and to think probably positional as well. There's so many great players in our league that we probably could have had a squad of 15 or 20 given someone's game on a given day that we have actually seen. So our team from goal shooter was Grace Senior from the Rutherglen Roos, Emily Stewart from the Lavington Panthers, accompanied by her wing attack in Maddie Lloyd from the Lavington Panthers. Centre, Emily Brown from North Albury, who was named player of the game over in the Interleague game for the O&M last weekend. Wing defence, Laura Ryan from Yarrawonga Pigeons, and in goal defence, Sophie Hanrahan from Coral Rutherglen, and young Grace Hay, goalkeeper from Lavington Panthers, who Sophie and Grace as well matched up together in that Interleague side and did a really, really great job, particularly for Grace Hay. She's only 17. I think she's just turned 18 in a couple of months. So great for her. And then a substitution bench of our team of the year with Georgia Clark from the Wang Magpies, Hannah Grady also from the Wangaratta Magpies, Grace Reid from the Wangaratta Rovers, Olivia Sinclair from Coral Rutherglen, and Mackenzie House from the Raiders, who today, like North Albury, they are both sitting on equal 5th. Just half a game behind the Wangaratta Magpies as well. So there's a few games today that could really shuffle, but with these people that we have deemed at this point of the season to be really starring for their clubs.
Oh, there's definitely plenty of movement. I think the subs bench was actually the hardest to pick. Someone we should mention who was at the Interleague game that really stood out was Ellie Cooper from Myrtleford. Tell me about the Interleague game. We got the loss, but what were the takeaways?
I think that we probably had a few opportunities. Obviously, I think when Olivia Sinclair went down, a couple of heads went down, and it's a huge injury and those sorts of things, but 5 goals, 2 turnovers. It's really not that much, and I think it just showed that we really match. Both leagues are very, very even. Nikita Singh played goal defence for the Goulburn Valley League alongside her normal defensive partner in the ring as well. So she had a bit of an in on what the O&M team will like as well, coming from our competition. So really nice to see her play there. But I think it would be about combinations, and I think going into the Victorian Championships, the Association Championships, which is where the Interleague team plays next, Georgie Bruce will be looking to have a few trainings just to kind of nail a few of those combinations. Obviously now, without Olivia Sinclair available, that will open up a spot, and we may see a few changes. But I think ultimately, there or thereabouts, it was just a matter of who converted a couple of turnovers late in the game.
So back to today, Ree. Albury Tigers, Yarrawonga Pigeons. Let's chat tips. Who have you got for today?
I'm going to go the Yarrawonga Pigeons, but only by 2 goals.
All right. Well, look, I'm going similar. I have backed Albury after their incredible performance against Lavington. I think it was devastating to lose by 1, and I think that that's all the more reason for them to get the win, but I'm saying by 1. Now,
hold on to your hats, everyone. The last few weeks have been close.
If they do win, what does this mean for the Tigers?
It means that hopefully the other games sway in their favour and they do edge closer to that 5th position. If Raiders and North Albury are both to win and the Wangaratta Magpies lose, they both go into the 4th and 5th positions, but would be equal 4th, and then Albury Tigers would slip in and be equal with Wang Magpies. So there's a lot for them to win, and I think they will just be looking to get that win on the board because we're heading to the halfway point and then they can just keep moving. I think Yarrawonga are just looking to put 4 consistent quarters together, finding a couple of those really strong combinations and really working with it.
So we mentioned Mellington before, Ree, but we can actually see that she's sitting on the bench. So the lineup has changed clearly in the last few moments, and we have a different goal defence.
So Karina Cameron coming into goal defence. So that's where her position is normally, and I'm wondering if maybe because of the conditions they're looking to keep Sarah as fit and able in for her Bandits commitments this evening as well. So we may see her take the court, we may not, but Karina Cameron, she's been doing a stellar job out there. She gives away a little bit in height. She's probably one of the shorter circle defenders, but really, really tenacious.
So first whistle has gone at the Albury Sports Ground with the Tigers having the first centre pass. See Andrews works it into Miani. And a great little shuffle back there. And the first goal goes to the Albury Tigers on the Indigo Power scoreboard.
And that's a really nice settler for Alison Miani there, just shuffling back, as you said, into that step closer into the ring, knowing that her defender wasn't behind her, just to give her all that space closer to the circle. As we see the Pigeons making a little error there just over the baseline, and the ball is now in the hands of Sarah Jones, halfway on that baseline for the Tigers' defensive end.
So Fisher fires it over to Andrews. And there's Hillier working with Rod. So lots of movement so far from the Tigers. Great hold from Miani, but she wants to get closer.
Oh, great feed. A bit of a look-away shot, look-away pass there from Andrews, and a nice rebound with a contact there from Olivia Lovell just under the ring. Alison Miani netting the Tigers' second shot, and credit to the Tigers girls then, they really stopped and propped before they got a pass or gave away a pass. So that's going to be something that is imperative in a game like today, and we will see that consistently from both teams.
Laura Irvine manages to turn the ball over with a contact against Rod. So Laura Ryan now. And Grinter working it down to Leslie. Top of the circle here for Yarrawonga. And Allen goes out to the pocket. And back into Cassar, but the contact against Jones.
Coming over behind there and just taking the ball out of Bridget's hands. That'll be something that Sarah Jones will need to be aware of. She'll just need to really come around the body, but she's already got the contact call for it once, so expect her to change that as we see Maddie Allen finishing the Yarrawonga turnover there with a nice goal. So we have a 1-goal ball game here. Albury Tigers lead 2-1.
So Fisher to Rod. Looks a little stuck, and she gets the held ball. So an early error there from the Tigers they won't be happy with.
All stuck on one side of the court, which credit to the Yarrawonga Pigeons defence. Then they pushed them to one sideline and just made it hard for the Tigers then to penetrate the ball. As we see another contact call, or maybe, contact call. Karina Cameron out of play there, just outside the ring. Irvine, a beautiful pass into Bridget Cassar, finishing with another nice goal. So quarter time score here, 2 goals apiece for the Cavalier Homes for first quarter.
And a great little intercept there from Leslie. And that's what we were talking about, Rhea, is that she's that natural goal defence. If she sees a ball, she's just going to stick her arms out and have a crack.
Yep, and I think then actually maybe the player passed it to her, but we'll call it an intercept stat. As we see the ball in the hands of Bridget Cassar, she gets another chance at goal with a contact call just under the post and finishing that one off. So Yarrawonga Pigeons now with their chance to take another goal lead here with their own centre pass.
So Laura Ryan, she's on the left-hand side of the court, but there's been a stepping call. So Cameron in goal defence for the Tigers takes the free pass, goes to Fisher. Again, Tigers just looking a little congested.
Clever work then by Heidi Fisher to use her body to zone the player out of the ball, out of the path of the ball, sorry. She would have been replaying the ball. It just slipped out of her fingers, which I'm sure we're going to see a lot of today, but really shepherding the space for another Tigers player to get the ball. And credit to them, they've worked the ball close to their circle edge in the hands of Emily Rod here, looking for the clear space, which Olivia Lovell takes a nice pass there, but unfortunately it spills out of her hands as well. So Alison Miani with the ball, but great hands there from Annalise Grinter, really followed the path of the ball. And the turnover here, as we see Yarrawonga Pigeons moving the ball beautifully into their attacking third. Captain coach Laura Irvine feeds into Maddie Allen. Bridget Cassar now with the ball, and an obstruction call from Sarah Jones.
So Maddie Allen, goal attack for the Pigeons. We'll have another shot at goal and a beautiful goal from her, which brings the visitors to 4-2 on the Indigo Power scoreboard.
And I think a game like today, particularly with it wet, players are going to have to be changing direction a lot. They're going to have to really shorten up their play. It's actually becomes really exhausting because they can't do those long drives that they're used to. So it'll be interesting, particularly if the rain keeps away and it starts to dry out, which team can change to that as well.
Beautiful hold there from Miani, but can't finish off the shot, so Irvine comes away with the ball in a really quick transition from the Pigeons, already in their circle, but they've gone out, willing to feed it around. We've played about 5 minutes on the Jacob Toyota Used Cars time clock here at the Albury Sports Ground.
And a great effort there from Kristen Andrews, just going offside, attempting that intercept, but really nice to put the pressure there on Laura Irvine, who's looking for that pocket ball to then be able to give the base ball to one of the shooters coming on the baseline.
Great little pass over Irvine to Casa, right under the post where she's comfortable, but a miss.
And a great tussle for the rebound there. Well done to Sarah Jones. She was in all of that, but I think we'll see that it's the Yarrawonga Pigeons with the throw in here. So halfway on their baseline, the ball's in the hands of Maddie Allen. She'll be looking for the likes of Kylie Leslie there deep in the pocket. Again, another refeed just to get the defender out of the way. Karina Cameron out of play. Maddie Allen with the shot, or we might call it a pass to Bridget Cassar there, who finishes that goal there. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons here leading 5 goals to Albury, 2 for the Indigo Power scoreboard.
So it's a slow and very wet first quarter for Cavalier Homes here at Albury. Lots of tussle for the ball so far. You can see both teams really wanting this win. Yarrawonga want to continue to perform their best, and Albury fighting to stay in that finals contention.
And there we see a ripping feed from Laura Irvine. Defenders had their eyes down. Bridget Cassar put out on full stretch, but with all the space behind her, and finishing again with another nice goal. Albury Tigers here with their centre pass, looking to convert. But the defensive pressure of Yarrawonga Pigeons here, they're not letting anyone through. They're really hard one-on-one, hands over the person with the ball and trying to get that little tip for someone to run after. But Sky Hillier feeding into her shooting counterpart in Alison Miani, finishing that one off with a nice goal. So a nice steadying passage of play there for the Albury Tigers. Trailing here 3 goals to the Yarrawonga Pigeons 6.
So Allen works it over to Leslie, fishes out with contact, and a big bump there from Karina Cameron puts her out of play about mid-range in the circle for the Pigeons. So Allen takes a shot, again falls short. So for both Pigeon shooters, shots are just trickling off a little bit.
And just from memory, the shooters previously that I've played with have mentioned that these goals are quite bouncy. So if they do lip any part of the ring just at the wrong angle, they have a tendency to bounce out. So we did say that Maddie Allen, she can shoot these mid-range goals beautifully, as right on cue there she does. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons here taking a 4-goal lead, 7 goals to 3, thanks to the Indigo Power scoreboard.
So the Tigers, ball in hand, there's Hillier, works with Rod. And again, just trying to push it into Miani, but Lovell is not making it easy for anyone.
Positioning her body really nicely. And we've got a contact call. So the other defender in Annalise Grinter is now out of play. Miani with that characteristic bounce off the back of the ring, but a nice settling rebound there from Sky Hillier, just getting the tip back to herself, finishing with another nice goal for the Albury Tigers. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons here still leading 7 goals to 4 with about 6.5 minutes to play in this first quarter, thanks to Cavalier Homes.
Little bounce pass from Casa goes into the hands of Cameron. There's been a contact call, so Maddie Allen from the Pigeons will get a penalty shot.
Oh, and a little bit angled then. I reckon that's probably slipped out of the side of her hands. You could nearly see it edge towards the edge of the ring. And the Pigeons here with the ball again after a baseline throw-in in the hands of Cassar, about halfway on the baseline. And a lovely, nice feed over everyone's head into Allen, who finishes that goal there nice and smoothly. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons leading here on the Indigo Power scoreboard, 8 goals to 4.
So Rod, they're in the attacking third. She's working in with Andrews, and a bounce pass into Hillier. Wants to get closer. Good patience from the Tigers just to get that ball in nice and close. Hillier scores from where she's comfortable. So the home team now up to 5, only trailing by 3 on the Indigo Power scoreboard.
And Liv Lovell's working tirelessly here in this goalkeeper role for the Yarrawonga Pigeons. She went to go fishing for the intercept, which is a little bit harder when it is wet because your timing's just out a little bit. But credit to her, she didn't overrun it and she was able to pressure the ball into Sky Hillier again. So expect as the court tends to dry out that she might come alive. But one of those coach killer calls there, a 1%er for a foot violation. Her foot was on the baseline. So now the ball is in the hands of the Tigers, just on the edge of the circle. Looking, Kristen Andrews feeding into Sky Hillier. Mid-range, she opts to pass out, but hands to ball, a nice little tap there onto Laura Ryan, and the Yarrawonga Pigeons have already transitioned to their attacking third line, looking to get it into their shooters.
So Irvine for the Pigeons goes to Leslie and out to Casa.
A lot of hard bumps on the body here. That's often what happens in the wet as well, just trying to stop and pull up a little bit sooner than you would like, and sometimes that is a little bit harder, but nothing out of the ordinary. But I think a few people might have a couple of bruises come tomorrow.
We've got to appreciate how the wet does affect. I mean, obviously the ball itself is really slippery, and your feet, you can't move as probably agile as you want to, and it's frustrating as a player when you can't do what you're used to doing because of the conditions.
Yet we still try, and the girls, the speed in which they still play given the conditions is exceptional. So credit to them, and well done to Karina Cameron. Eyes on ball then. She came off her own shooting player in Maddie Allen to just get a hand on the ball in front of Bridget Cassar. So really great combination between her and Sarah Jones, as we see Heidi Fisher transitioning the ball beautifully down into the Tigers attacking third, and a really nice feed there from Kristen Andrews into Alison Miani,
who finishes off with a beautiful shot for the Tigers. So the home team slowly building back the pace. They're now at 6, trailing Yarrawonga's 8 on the Indigo Power scoreboard. There's just over 3 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars score clock.
Clever
Time
drive.
clock.
Clever drive there from Emily Rod. She went out wide to get the centre pass, and then she cut through back into the centre channel, which is where we predominantly want the ball to come. So that gave her best view of the ball and the court. And we see a contact call on Laura Irvine there. Emily Rod now with the ball at the top of the circle. And great defensive effort from the Yarrawonga Pigeons, just making it really hard to get that ball away. So the ball in the hands of Olivia Lovell at the top of the circle, with the Yarrawonga Pigeons transitioning with a long outlet ball to Laura Ryan. The ball now transitioned into their attacking third. Laura Irvine, well communicated. I don't think Bridge Cassar saw that one coming, but they just know each other too well, I'm sure. Laura Irvine just quickly said, "Bridge," and hoped for the best, and finished with a nice goal. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons leading here 9 goals to 6, thanks to the Indigo Power scoreboard.
It's definitely easier to say sorry about that after rather than not doing it all. So good on Irvine for just flinging it in and hoping for the best, but she did get the best. So and a little pass over to Casa. She'll go to the back foot and scores again. So Yarrawonga keeping their lead, this time at 4 on the Indigo Power scoreboard, with just a few minutes left on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Contact call there on Laura Ryan has slowed the ball down here for the Albury Tigers off their centre pass. Emily Rod just spilling the ball out of the tips of her fingers, a little bit slippery. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons again with the opportunity to increase their margin with this defensive ball coming through, transitioning well. Laura Ryan's doing an exceptional job getting quite a long ball outlet pass through that centre third. So that'll be something as the game progresses that the Tigers girls will want to need to look to shut down.
So Maddie Allen, another one for the Pigeons. The Tigers need to pull something together and claw it back before the first quarter for Cavalier Homes ends in just over a minute.
Maddie Allen looking back to Laura Irvine here. They're not afraid to do that, the Yarrawonga Pigeons, and just take a couple of extra passes, which again really important in these wet conditions, just to slow the ball down a little bit. Maddie Allen opting to pass out, and the tussle between Laura Irvine and Kristen Andrews is exceptional. They're just both in everything, tips on balls, chasing up loose balls, and really defending ball out. So I think a footwork call there possibly for Bridget Cassar. So the Tigers girls well done to Laura Ryan coming through in front of the opposition wing defence as well to get that ball, putting the Tigers girls on the back foot. So the Pigeons now in the hands of Bridget Casser. She offloads to Maddie Allen under the post, who converts. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons now leading 12 goals to 6 for the Indigo Power scoreboard.
So under a minute left on the Jacob Toda used cars time clock. Tigers have the ball in hand, moving it along in their attacking third. Andrews goes to the pocket with Rod. A little bounce pass, and somehow she gets it to Hillier. You can tell the wet conditions making it just that little bit harder. And a beautiful settler for the Tigers under the hands of Sky Hillier.
And on approaching quarter time, we'll look to the Yarrawonga Pigeons to see if they can net one more just before that siren goes. However, that is quarter time action here at the Albury Sports Ground. The Yarrawonga Pigeons leading 12 goals to 7 for the O&M Live netball for McRae Motors. And on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between, manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
Albury, family owned and operated since 1931. You're listening to O&M Live on 2AY.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball for McRae Motors. We are here at the Albury Sports Ground. It is a wet and rainy Saturday. My name is Hannah Davies and I'm joined with Ree Dollar-Henty, and we are currently in the midst of the Albury Tigers playing the Yarrawonga Pigeons.
with the Yarrawonga Pigeons leading here at quarter time, 12 goals to 7. So looking at the teams as they're coming back on court now, awaiting this first centre pass, no changes by either team, which I think is relative to what's happened in the first quarter. So very wet, lots of scrappy play. So the Tigers girls will be looking to just capitalise on their centre passes and a couple of the turnovers that they did get to convert. Yarrawonga Pigeons, they did an exceptional job of getting plenty of hand on ball, so they'll be wanting to convert even more of those turnovers that they were getting. Heidi Fisher here with the ball at the transverse line, and a lovely feed there from Kristen Andrews into Alison Miani with all the back space. Finished with a nice goal. So they peg one back here. The scoreboard, thanks to Cavalier Home, reads 12 goals to 8. And in the hands of Kylie Leslie, she palms off to Maddie Allen, who back to Leslie, into Bridget Cassar at the top of the circle. So she's definitely not going to shoot from there. She'll want to get it in, which she does again in the hands of Kylie Leslie. A quick feed to Maddie Allen, but well done to Karina Cameron coming through there. Two-handed intercept. Hard to do in the wet conditions, but great work as well. And the Tigers girls with a really quick transition, 3 passes into their attacking third, and an obstruction call here, just trying to work out which third the penalty needed to be taken. Bounce pass from Kristen Andrews to Emily Rodd on the edge of the circle. The pass going into Alison Miani, but just slipped through the fingers over that baseline.
And we're seeing a little bit of that today, Reed. Just those unforced errors. You've got to essentially put it down to conditions, but it is going to be that team that finds consistency and just finds that steady pace that will come away with the win today. So a mistake from Rod there, the pass just not getting its height, but Kristen Andrews has somehow come up with the ball and there's a lot of contact.
There's a lot of
going
bodies,
on.
there's a lot of hands there, and then the ball's popping up. So I think both teams will just want to take a little breath here. The first minutes being quite quick and a lot of those small balls. And interesting, the Tigers girls are opting to kind of use a lot more of those bounce passes. So I'm thinking they want to get that ball out of the air because it is that little bit more dangerous as well in the wet conditions. So they're looking to go to those bounce passes, which Liv Lovell delivers to Laura Ryan as well, who's been exceptional bringing this ball down. She's on the the attacking transverse, and passes the ball beautifully to Kylie Leslie in the wing. Again, being ready on that transverse line. The ball from Cassar fired out to Leslie. Double play into Cassar, who attempts to finish, but the rebound again bounces off the front of that ring. But the ball in the hands of the Yarrawonga Pigeons. Goal attack in Maddie Allen, and a contact call at the top of the circle from the Albury Tigers, Heidi Fisher. So Laura Irvine, captain coach here, looking for just a steady ball into her shooters now.
She was possibly lucky to get that call against her. I have to say the pass from Allen to Irvine was frankly too wide, too tall. But the Pigeons have managed to pull it back together. Casa under the post again. Can she make up for lost time? Yes, she can. A goal for her. So it puts the visitors up to 13 to Albury's 8 on the Cavalier Home scoreboard.
Emily Rodd here looking back to her wing defence in Heidi Fisher. There wasn't anything presenting forward, so clever to do, short and sharp, especially needed in these conditions. Kristen Andrews again looking back to that refeed, that reset ball, and a quick probably 3 seconds there deemed by the umpire, but the Yarrawonga Pigeons, credit to them, their defence in these conditions has been great. They've just been doing those 1%ers so well, as we see Kristen Andrews do the same, and then Liv Lovell for the Yarrawonga Pigeons, again coming up with the goods for a little mishandle off the ball.
So Irvine looks into Casa, but the ball just spills out. They'll take it back though.
And it's a contact call off the ball outside of the circle on Karina Cameron. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons having to pass here to get into Cassar, who is under the post. It rolls out, it's slowly rolled, and a great rebound from Maddie Allen. She too goes for that ball, and I think maybe a held ball call there, which is interesting under the ring. You don't see too many of those on the shot, but credit to the Tigers defenders getting their arms over. Scrappy ball play again. We're just working out where the throw-in needs to be taken. Sarah Jones in the goal third gives to her goal defence in Karina Cameron, who's heavily defended by Bridget Cassar, giving away the penalty there.
Yeah, it's a really interesting call we've just had here. So Karina Cameron moved off the pass. She went into the hands of Cassar, but because Cassar, I guess, was in the 3 feet, they've called the contact against Cassar.
Yeah, and within reason, and it could be the positioning of the umpire as well as to how she saw that. But well done to the Tigers. They have converted that turnover, which was really goal game here. The Yarrawonga Pigeons leading 13 goals to 9 in this second quarter action, thanks to Urban Greys.
So the obstruction wing defence against Fisher, who's been niggling away at Leslie all game. And she goes to Casa. Again, they're just trying to find that closer shot. Pigeons probably won't be as happy with the accuracy today. Again, another miss from Allen. Can Casa make up for it?
And it nearly slipped across the ring then. Maddie Allen shot it, like skimmed off one side and came off the other, but into the hands of Casa, who converts their centre pass there. So they're leading now 14 goals to 9. So this 5-goal buffer hasn't really changed too much. We've had nearly probably 6 minutes of action here. And yeah, the ball must be very, very wet and hard to really handle, as we see Alison Miani just losing balance there, trying to spill the ball out to her shooting counterpart in goal attacking Sky Hillier, but a contact call. So Liv Lovell and Alison Grinter teaming up again through that defensive third, transitioning the ball, slipping through Kylie Leslie's steady fingers. And now the Tigers are on their attack, bringing that ball down. Kristen Andrews, very clever there. A little bit of like a soccer move then, shepherding the ball herself as it trickled down closer to the circle, and she was able to stop. I don't think I would have been able to. I probably would have skidded on that circle edge, but the ball is in with Alison Miani. So double digits for the Albury Tigers, bringing them to 10 goals. The Yarrawonga Pigeons, though, leading 14 goals to 10, thanks to the Cavalier Homes.
So Irvine puts it to Casa, and Casa's got the back foot down. She wants to get closer. And Sarah Jones just finds herself too close, so there's a contact. Allen off to Casa. And finishes it off. So the Pigeons back on track, 5 ahead now on the Cavalier Homes scoreboard.
And the Tigers will just really want to infiltrate this margin. They haven't got to get it lower than that 5-4 goal buffer, so they really need to convert this centre pass, which is going to be made hard when it just trickles off the baseline. And interesting to see what the umpire will call here. Were their hands in there? I think so. We've deemed that it was last off the Yarrawonga Pigeons. So Sky Hillier about halfway across the circle edge on their baseline. She slings the ball out to Kristen Andrews, comes through the top of the circle to get the ball again from Kristen Andrews, taking this shot here and finishing. So lots of work there for Sky Hillier, great work rate. We've now got a 3-goal ball game. Yarrawonga Pigeons leading 4 goals to 11, thanks to the Cavalier Homes scoreboard.
Oh, and a beautiful play there from the Pigeons. Irvine just hitting that top of the circle, and she's confident in Casa, walks back straight away. That's what you love to see.
You love to see it. And bringing that ball down the centre of the court is so crucial. So if your centre or wing attack gets the ball at the top of the circle, they have all the vision in the world to give that ball into the circle. And Laura Irvine and Bridget Casa, they just know their play inside out. So it just meant that that ball had to be pinpoint perfect, which 9 times out of 10 from Laura Irvine is, and then just Bridge finishing off with a really good goal. So the Tigers girls not able to capitalise here on their centre pass, as we see the Yarrawonga Pigeons with the throw-in deep in the corner of their baseline. They're just happy to work it around between their defenders. Again, another long outlet pass there, which could have gone astray considering Annalise Grinter was kind of standing still, which coaches don't like too much to see, but they've managed to get it in. Kylie Lesley with the ball deep in the pocket into Casa on the baseline, who finishes that turnover.
So roughly 6.5 minutes left on the Jacob Touretta used cars time clock, and Albury Tigers just throw the ball away. A definite miscommunication between them.
And Heidi Fisher annoyed with herself then. You can see her making the action like, oh, that pass wasn't supposed to go there. However, great turnover in our commentators curse here, probably one of those karma things. So the ball with Karina Cameron.
I love watching Fisher play, though, not just for her play, but how animated she is. You can tell exactly what she's feeling. Throws the arms up. Not sure if the umpires find it as entertaining as we do, but there you go.
She's she's fantastic. And I think one of those players, which I think probably all 14 girls that are on the court, plus those couple of bench players, these girls are all so hard on themselves as well. So that often that frustration is just more at themselves than anything else. So the Tigers girls here, just a little dribble over the baseline, but managed to regain possession. A nice feed there into Miani in the space away from Annalise Grinter's hands, with Alison Miani finishing that with a nice goal right under the goal post. I can't find my words this quarter. The Yarrawonga Pigeons leading 17 goals to 12 thanks to the Cavalier home scoreboard.
So they're only up by 5, the visitors. Albury Tigers definitely still in it, but the Pigeons just looking more in control. You can see Laura Ryan kind of guiding them down that court. She's been incredible today. She's just always there, and you can kind of sense that calmness from the Pigeons, knowing that you've got Ryan and Grinter just on that transverse line in case you need them.
Oh, and a replay there from Maddie Allen. She's a little bit disappointed. And Laura Ryan, again, she's in everything. That could be a highlight of the day. Just her vision and her accuracy. I think you're right, Hannah. The Yarrawonga girls just look like they've got their systems a little bit more settled in the wet. That hasn't changed too much of what they're looking for in terms of where the ball's going. Whereas I think the Tigers girls, some of their systems, credit to the Yarrawonga Pigeons defence, have been interrupted. So perhaps where they were idealising where they wanted to run isn't coming into fruition. So they'll need to change that up a little bit. And the Yarrawonga Pigeons again turning the ball over, but Karina Cameron coming out on a wet day for a nice flying intercept there. That could be another highlight of the day thanks to 3D lanes. And Sarah Jones taking the pass here deep in their goal third. Heidi Fisher onto Kristen Andrews. I think that ball was a little bit lower to the ground than she would have liked, but a lovely feed to Miani, who settling goal, bringing them back within 4. So Yarrawonga Pigeons leading 17 goals here to 13, with their own centre pass to come in the hands of Laura Irvine.
So the Pigeons just moving beautifully down the court, but a little stumble there. So the Tigers will come away with the ball here.
And that one-on-one pressure from Heidi Fisher caused the turnover there. We said at the top end of the program that the combination between Kristen Andrews and Heidi Fisher in defence would be really crucial, as we see Sky Hillier throwing that ball from halfway in that centre third to Alison Miani, who won't like that she's missed that goal, but taking her own rebound and netting it through.
So the Tigers, they've got momentum on their side now. Kristen Andrews goes to Rod. Only 3 behind. If they can stay calm, they can finish this off. So Fisher, Allen's out of play. Left-hand side of the court. The umpire's called held, though. That is very unfortunate for the Tigers, but it's been a kind of regular occurrence today, Ree. They're not happy with the slower pace. Perhaps the pace has come from... So I'm going to change because the umpire has just delivered a caution to Andrews, Ree. Is that correct?
Kristen Andrews, yeah, so deliberate here. So she will want to really keep an eye on that, because with a caution call, if that offence happens again, it then becomes the next phase of that. And I can't find the words of that. But
second warning?
Yeah, and the Tigers girls won't want that, because then they could end up with a man down and have to change their positional personnel, which Kristen Andrews and Heidi Fisher are linking so well. Defensive third as well. So, yeah, just watch this space. But, yeah, Kristen Andrews, she'll be aware of it now and she'll try not to do it. Maddie Allen here. Ball to the top of the circle, deep to Laura Irvine in the pocket. Looking for Cassar. Great job by Sarah Jones. Doesn't give her any space, but Bridget Cassar now finding the space out to Irvine, who throws it back into Allen. She's about midway, but a great hands-over defensive effort there from Sarah Jones causes the goal to just fall short at the front of the ring. So Maddie Allen's right next to the post, throwing it out to Laura Irvine in the pocket. And a clever ball there from Laura Irvine, just making it that the defender's hands and body would get in the road. So Karina Cameron out of play. Maddie Allen about halfway of the distance from that goal post to their circle edge, but spilling over. Cassar, great rebound, great reach, finishing with a nice goal. So Yarrawonga Pigeons there, 18 goals now to the Albury Tigers 14. Second quarter action here thanks to Urban Greys.
So we're just waiting for the ball to be retrieved. We've got Laura Ryan from the Pigeons to take this. Less than a minute to go on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. The Pigeons have worked their way back into this second quarter for Urban Greys. So Fisher's out of play. Again, that contact, the umpire's calling it all today.
And great job there, a really nice roll from Bridget. She got Sarah Jones on the wrong side of the body and was able to move and find the space. But again, the umpire deeming a held ball on the shot. So Bridget want to just take a half a second off getting that shot up. And the Tigers, they're looking to convert here. We wouldn't have too much longer to play in this second quarter. Alison Miani now, ball to the baseline, throws it out to Emily Rodd, who sends it back to Miani, but a contact call from Liv Lovell. She's been in everything, making it really hard. We have had the siren go here second quarter, but Sky Hillier, penalty pass or shot under the ring, and she gets the advantage of moving forward because Annalise Grinter has given away a penalty as well. Sky Hillier steps in, bringing one goal back. So second quarter, halftime action here. Tigers 15, and on O&M Live here, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton 0.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between, manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
Live on 2AY.
Well,
sorry, you go.
We're both welcoming each other back to O&M Live Netball for McRae Motors. We're here at the Albury Sports Ground where the home team are trailing by just 3 on the scoreboard.
And very well done by Sky Hillier. She managed to get that back to a 3-goal margin rather than a 4-goal margin, cleverly getting both defenders out of play after the final whistle had blown for that second quarter. So she was able to take the penalty shot, getting herself back in closer, and she will have been taking a big deep breath before that, because had she missed, she would have been very, very, very cranky at herself. So credit to her for netting that. Our third quarter action here is being brought to you by the Martins Travel Group, and we've seen that already both teams have made quite a few changes, notably the Yarrawonga Pigeons. We're seeing the return to the court of Sarah Moore, previously Sarah Sanini, in at goal attack. So it will be interesting to see how they work Sarah into the game here with Bridget Casser. They know each other. They've played a season together, but Sarah's been in and out due to injury so far. So clever play just in this third quarter. Maddie Allen was doing a really great job. So I think it's just to get Sarah back on the court and Tilly Kennedy coming into that wing attack role. So a little bit of a change up in the attacking end, but the three of those attacking players have played together. And we see Kylie Leslie going home into that goal defence role. So Annalise Grinter dropping back into goalkeeper. So again, another consistent change that they can make. Liv Lovell, who was in goalkeeper, she's been playing brilliantly. She was doing a great job. So I think it's just to try simply a different combination. They've from the whistle, but she had to look back, and Sally Capay giving away a contact call. Kylie Leslie delivering that ball to the top of the circle from Tilly Kennedy. But again, well done to Karina Cameron, a two-handed intercept across the baseline in front of Casser, putting the ball ahead. And I think a bit of confusion then over who would get that throw in, but it's in the hands of the Albury Tigers. So opportunity now for them to capitalise. The tussle between Laura Ryan and Heidi Fisher there was excellent, both using their body really clever to try and get front position. Heidi Fisher now bringing the ball onto the circle edge, a feed into Alison Miani, and Annalise Grinter using her body really well and actually turning in the air to get that ball and pressure that ball. So yes, they're looking to go up, but I think they might have to change that, because that's two balls that have gone up in the air that the Yarrawonga Pigeons defenders, circle defenders, have gotten their hands to.
Well, when they feed Miani well, it just works seamlessly, but it's not working right now. We've actually seen Hillier come at that contact late. The ball's been fed to Grinter, and she's just come from behind and given her a bit of whack in the head. She's recovered pretty quickly to get the ball away, but maybe just a bit winded.
Yeah, I think maybe just the angle at which she took that contact, then her back kind of just went at the wrong angle. So hopefully, maybe just because it's a little bit colder as well, being on the ground's not ideal. But the Yarrawonga Pigeons girls transitioning the ball, but giving the ball away there. I think maybe a footwork call for Sarah Sanini on the baseline. So Karina Cameron now transitioning to goal attack, and coach Sky Hillier giving the ball off to Kristen Andrews in wing attack. Getting the ball again from Sally Capay into Heidi Fisher on this deep pocket here closest to us. She does a massive cross-court pass over to Kristen Andrews, which paid off, and now is at the top of the circle to Heidi Fisher into Alison Miani, netting a nice first settling goal for them for this quarter. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons leading again by 4 goals, 20 goals to the Albury Tigers 16. Tilly Kennedy taking that centre pass and looking for the double play with Kylie Leslie.
So Laura Irvine picks up the scraps there, keeps them in play, goes to Kennedy in the pocket, over to Casa. It's a little bit out of her normal range. Can she pop it in? She can. So brings the visitors up to 21 to Albury Tigers 16 on the Indigo Power scoreboard.
And Tilly Kennedy then, that was a really great passage of play. The speed at which she took the ball, but fed it so well into Bridget Casa is so great considering the conditions. And as we speak, taking a really nice two-handed intercept right on the transverse line. So a little 1% turnover, 2 passes. They're in their goal circle. Another goal from Bridget Casa in her bread and butter position there under the ring. Now they're taking a quick 6-goal leads here, 22 goals, plays 16.
That intercept from Tilly Kennedy's got to be a 3-day lanes highlight of the day. It's her first quarter today. She doesn't quite get full court time. Not sure if that's because she's managing netball down in Geelong as well, Ree.
And it's just her availability as well when she's home for the weekend. So, we saw her take the court against Coral Rutherglen, and she had a real impact in that attacking end as well. Something needed to change there. And probably they're just trialling, seeing, but I like her in the wing attack position because she can defend really well as well.
And not only that, but I love Leslie in goal defence. I think that she's pretty great in whatever she is, but goal defence is her home, and her combination with Grinter in particular is what makes it so special.
Yep, and there's probably, 500 games that they've played together as well, but a much, much better feeding there from the Albury Tigers girls into Miani. It was pinpoint accurate, as we've spoken about before, but just over the hands and the elevation of Annalise Grinter and into space. So they're going to be looking to continue that as Kristen Andrews delivers into Miani. She's hitting the baseline there and netting another nice goal and giving the kudos to her wing attacking Kristen Andrews there. We've got a 4-goal game here. Yarrawonga on the Indigo Power scoreboard.
So there's just over 9 minutes to play on the Jacob Toretto used cars time clock, and the Tigers move the ball down just in the far channel.
Well done to Kristen Andrews there to manage to maintain possession of that ball. She kind of juggled it, but just with the slipperiness. And Kylie Leslie trying there to get her hands on ball outside the circle. So Sky Hillier home alone for the pass, but a little bit too far on the circle edge. Opts to go across court. Kristen Andrews delivering the ball to Alison Miani, but her shot just falling short. So now the Yarrawonga Pigeons in reply looking to transition this ball, which they are slow in penetrating their transverse line. Sally Capay gives them the opportunity to just bring it down closer, and in the hands of Tilly Kennedy, she hands off to Sarah Sanini, who's managed a contact call off the ball there from Karina Cameron. So Sarah Moore, should I say, netting her first goal on this third quarter action thanks to the Martins Travel Group Albury.
So Cameron helps the Tigers wide, manages to keep it in, but Fisher somehow not a replay. I just don't think the umpire saw that one, so she'll probably be thinking, taking a deep breath.
But those calls sometimes happen. So Yarrawonga Pigeons here with their centre pass. They are leading 23 goals to the Albury Tigers 18, thanks to the Indigo Power scoreboard.
So Ryan again on that transverse, helping the team, goes to Kennedy. Kennedy just dribbles it down to Moore, who wants to get closer. But there's been a stepping call, so she's not looking happy with that either. So Jones for the Tigers will take this free pass as the Tigers look to just narrow that margin a little bit on the Indigo Power scoreboard.
A mountain of work there from Katrina Cameron. She kind of covered the court sideways a couple of times, but getting the ball forward. Heidi Fisher and Sky Hillier doing a really nice double play there to allow Sky Hillier just to shuffle back half a step to be in that really succinct zone for her to shoot. But as we say that, The ball just slips out of her fingers. I think she was too busy thinking about the next pass rather than finishing off that first action with a slippery ball. We can't do too many of, but the Yarrawonga Pigeons in reply here now. They've gotten it down to their circle edge in the hands of Tilly Kennedy now. She passes in to Sarah Moore, who positions her body cleverly to ensure that Karina Cameron would be contacting on her way through and stepping forward for another nice goal. So a few weeks off, I'm sure that Sayers would have been still putting up her goal attempts as well. So that's something that she credits herself on, is her accuracy under goal and her percentage. So she'll be looking to take those as we see her from the circle edge. If that was a Suncorp Super Netball shot, that would have been a 2-point ball. So
definitely a 3D lanes highlight of the day. And it's funny, Ree, because I have to say the Pigeons were lacking the accuracy in the first half. So to bring on a Moore who has the accuracy is only going to elevate them. They're 4 ahead now. If they can push ahead to probably like a 10-goal margin, I'd say the game is a lot more comfortably theirs.
Yeah, and 4 goals again, it's still the Tigers within striking reach, but I think the Yarrawonga Pigeons just really look in control, even though there still has been quite a few turnovers and the margin hasn't blown out yet. It still seems like their systems are a little bit more controlled and coming off a little bit more, as shooter-to-shooter pass in there between Cassar and Moore. So Cassar netting that goal, and the Yarrawonga Pigeons leading here 25 goals to the Albury Tigers 20.
So the ball goes out, but it's a Pigeons throw in. Laura Irvine will take this one just inside the centre third. She goes out to Cassar, who's almost out of the attacking third. A beautiful sweep pass into Moore, who finishes it off beautifully to push out the visitors to a 7-goal lead.
And that's one of those plays that nearly looks like a training drill, just in how it was timed and executed, with Fisher doing a similar pass into Miani, replicated at the other end too. Goal falling short off the front of the ring, and cleverly defended for the rebound by Grinter. And the Yarrawonga Pigeons, 2 passes and they're in their attacking third. They've played around with it a little bit on the circle edge, but Moore putting up another really what looks like an easy goal for her halfway on that baseline.
So that's what the Pigeons have been missing. We've said it in the weeks coming. And a perfect pass there from Moore into Cassar. Another 3D lanes highlight of the day. It's becoming the Sarah Moore highlight of the day, isn't it?
We'll see. She probably won't like that one, but that's how quickly the margin can blow out as well. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons here already taking a 9-goal lead. 29 goals, plays 20 with the third quarter action, thanks to the Martins Travel Group Albury. Annalise Grinter giving away a contact. Sky Hillier cleverly stepping in, waiting for the defender to put their arms up, and then passing over to Miani, who will be much happier with the finish on that play. They're now 21 to the Yarrawonga Pigeons 29. Tilly Kennedy just a little bit too much on that, and given these conditions, she won't want to be doing too many of those.
It's funny though, because we did just see Moore do the exact same thing, but timing, isn't it? It's all about where you are in the court. And there'll be a contact here against Ryan, just coming in that ball late. So the Tigers putting it over to Miani, but that ball over just not working. Probably need to find the front space, and probably need Hillier to take a bit more of the pressure off Miani. They are opting in for that lob in, when possibly a little bit more movement would just relax the whole team.
Yeah, and I think the problem with that pass was then it went on the wrong side of Miani's body as well. So the way in which she turned off the ball, she was heading in the other direction to which the path of the ball did. So that's probably just still getting used to one another, but I definitely think Sky Hillier's impact may come in as we see the ball, as the court, is starting to dry out without that little drizzle. We're seeing a few more longer passes and longer drives. So perhaps as this third quarter continues and well into the fourth quarter, we might see, a couple more of those longer, definite drives there from Sky Hillier. And Bridget Cassar taking her own rebound, bringing the Yarrawonga Pigeons to 30, playing the Albury Tigers here 21, with our third quarter action thanks to Martins Travel Group Albury.
So Capay goes to the hands of Ryan and somehow slips back to the Tigers. That happened extremely quickly. So Hillier takes the shot for Albury. So pushes them up to 22 to 30 for Yarrawonga on the Indigo Power scoreboard. And we've got about 2 minutes left to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars score clock. So if Albury have any hope of climbing back here, they need to do so in the next minute.
And Bridget Cassar and Sarah Sanini, they've just, it doesn't look like Sarah Moore hasn't played for a few weeks. They're just really working really well. And what Sarah did well then, she took the arch as she was driving and she drew both defenders in her direction, which left Bridget Cassar wide open under the circle edge. So again, another kind of textbook play from the Yarrawonga Pigeons, which obviously they've been putting that in training. We've spoken about how they probably themselves haven't been too happy with the performances and the consistency that they've put out there, but they really haven't made too many errors today, which is reflective of the scoreboard.
So the ball goes back to Irvine. Goes to Cassar, finds the front space. Jones gets a hand on it just a little too late, so she'll go out with the contact, which leaves Moore at a beautiful long-range shot. No surprises what she's going to do here, and that's sink that goal.
And that's confidence in your players as well, I think, and playing to your strengths as well. And Bridget Cassar, she's so strong under the ring for any rebounds that she's got all confidence in her shooting buddy there in Sarah Moore to put up those shots. And if there is any spillage, that she will get that. And Laura Irvine, just consistent. She drives into that pocket so hard, represents to the top of the circle, and is always there, always calm, and leads this Yarrawonga Pigeons team beautifully.
What a clever pass from Moore there. Kind of almost had us all fooled. Looked out to Irvine and just flicks it over with a lot of ease. Puts it high in the air, gives Cassar all the time to take that.
And a breaking call from wing defence here. So the Albury Tigers getting closer to their goal. Kristen Andrews, top of the circle, off to Heidi Fisher in centre. Sorry. Off to Sky Hillier, who... Oh, Kylie Leslie coming through with the jump on the shot, getting a little tip to it. So Sky Hillier with the baseline throw in. Both attacking players on the circle, trying to use their bodies to make sure that they had front space. And the whistle's blown here for three-quarter time. So at three-quarter time, we see the Yarrawonga Pigeons leading the Albury Tigers 33 goals to 22. And we've got O&M Live netball action for McRae Motors. And on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton 0.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between, manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev, for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
When a loved one experiences cancer, so do you. If your family needs support, speak to a cancer
here we go.
nurse,
Your mic's
call
on
the
and
Cancer
return to
Council
program.
Helpline on 13 11 20 or visit cancervic.org.au.
This quarter is for Martin's Travel Group Albury, family owned and operated since 1931. You're listening to O&M Live on 2AY.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball for McRae Motors. You've just tuned into the final quarter at Albury Sports Ground between the Albury Tigers and the Yarrawonga Pigeons, who have just pushed out to a 10-goal lead, which puts them nice and comfortable. Tilly Kennedy and Sarah Moore entered the court beautifully, Ree.
They did, and they really had what they will want to call an impact into that game, and you can see that from the scoreboard, an 11-goal lead coming into three-quarter time, which was only that 3-goal buffer at halftime, so they'll be really happy with that. And Sarah Sanini netting Yarrawonga's first goal of this fourth quarter with only one change on the court, and that is Emily Rodd taking the court again in that wing attack position, and that is has drawn Kristen Andrews and Heidi Fisher back into centre and wing defence respectively, which I think is probably their settled combination. I think they were looking just to see if a change up there onto the circle edge would make the difference, which it probably didn't, but had it been dry, may well have. But finishing their first centre pass off with a goal, so that's good. I think what the Tigers girls will want to do is just to get this margin back. Something between maybe a 4 or 5 goal would be great if they can, but I think the Yarrawonga Pigeons are really in control and will be really happy with what they've presented. And we see their slick play from Coach Laura Irvine into Bridget Casa with Alison on ball, and her elevation is a real strength of hers as well. So we expect to see, as the season progresses, her name coming up more and more in that defensive end from the efforts that she has put out.
So, Ree, we do have to choose an Urban Greys player of the day very soon. But before we nail it down, who's stood out for you on both sides today?
I don't know. I think the Yarrawonga Pigeons, credit to them, I think all their players, given the conditions, all delivered really well then, but on the right side of the body as well. So what Annalise Grinter has done really well is forced Alison Miani to change up which side of the body she wants the ball and where she wants the ball, and to kind of mask where that space is. So I think she's been really great. I think Laura Irvine's been really consistent. She's fed the ball well into all three shooters that have taken the court. But then I think Tilly Kennedy did an exceptional job coming on at half time. She really upped the intensity, bringing that ball down. And I think we commented a few times about the speed in which she took the ball, and Sarah Moore as well. So there's a few people out there, but I think everyone's just played their role, which happens when you've got a margin, which it is now 37-25, as Annalise Grinter again taking a beautiful two-handed intercept right underneath the post, but the ball intercepted by Emily Rodd, but she can't balance to keep the possession. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons now happy to play the ball around through that mid section of the centre third. In the hands of Sarah Moore, she dribbles, but a little bit of a contact call from Karina Cameron. So leaves the Yarrawonga Pigeons in a 2-against-1 in their attacking circle. Bridget Kasser finishing that play off with another goal. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons leading here 38 goals to 25 with our fourth quarter scoreboard, thanks to the X-Ray Group.
So just under 8 minutes left on the Jacobs Ready Used Cars time clock in this fourth quarter. It appears the Yarrawonga Pigeons are feeling pretty comfortable to take this one away. And Leslie just puts her hands on it, but a bit of miscommunication from the Tigers somehow works out with Rod getting the ball.
And really well done to Sky Hillier there, because Kylie Leslie forced her to keep running onto the ball. And the reason that she was able to get that ball was that she took that extra step. Kylie kind of stopped and pulled up short. I think she was worried she was going to give away the contact call. But well done to Sky Hillier for really chasing that up. And we see an attacking rebound there for her off Alison Miani's shot, and Sky Hillier finishing that off with another goal. So Kristen Andrews here taking the Tigers' centre pass. They're looking to convert off their own centre pass, trailing by 12. They've got enough time to bring this margin down, but it'll probably come up to these next couple of centre passes, which slippery fingers through Alison Miani will put it as a stat as a pass, but
you're always generous, Reed.
Very generous. Spills out again, and the Yarrawonga Pigeons, again, their transition, 3 passes, and they're in their circle.
And another thing I love about Moore is that even though she's not always involved with the play, she creates a lot of space. I think that obviously the combination between Allen and Kasser is still building, but it actually helps a lot to take yourself out, but also take your player out, especially someone like Karina Cameron, who's going to get in and have a crack and give a little elbow and hip. So it actually just works beautifully when you take out the player and give him space, kind of like how Kasser's doing right now. And it sets up Moore to take that beautiful long shot with only one defender for the opposition.
Yep, and ideally that kind of 2-on-1 scenario for an attacker in there. But as you said, Karina Cameron, she's happy to come off the ball and go for those, putting the pressure on there. And credit to her, the Tigers girls have maintained possession here thanks to that smart play. Heidi Fisher giving the ball off to Emily Rodd. That's a better drive from her straight up the guts. Kristen Andrews, ball deep in their pocket, but another just fumble here. Alison Miani giving away a contact close to their baseline. Grinter just bringing the ball back. Both players taking a few deep breaths. With the we've had a time call. Sorry, I didn't even notice that.
Yes.
So I think maybe a cramp
Kristen
there from
Andrews.
Kristen Andrews. So Sally Capay coming back on into that centre position. So she came on in wing defence last quarter. She's come on here as centre. Hopefully nothing too serious for Kristen Andrews, and it's just a matter of maybe the cold, maybe getting a knee perhaps in the back of that calf as she stopped. Well done to Tilly Kennedy. A clever throw in there to Sarah Moore, and I think that's her first miss of the game.
I think you might be right, Ree.
She's going to have the opportunity here to take the pass again. I believe it's an offside call. And
the
just
direction she's giving there, just to Tilly, just say move around, just really subtle. But it's just that leadership that just makes all the effort, you know.
Yeah, and this is why they are such a powerhouse. And I think the Yarrawonga girls will be really happy with their four-quarter effort today. I think they'll be pleased with this win, as I think Laura Irvine has said it a few times. She's like, oh, we won, but it wasn't very pretty. Whereas today, they'll be much happier with some of the plays that they've put. It's been really smooth. It's been really consistent. And all 7 players have really attributed to that. They're all smiling and having a giggle out there as well, which is a really positive thing. So the Tigers girls here trailing by 14 now. The Yarrawonga Pigeons leading 40 goals, plays 26, thanks to the X-Ray Group scoreboard. We've got just under 4 minutes to play, thanks to Jacob Toyota. And I think probably a different margin than either of us were expecting.
Absolutely, Rhea. I think that the Tigers will be a little bit disappointed. Definitely let them slip away a little bit. But the other person they're missing is, of course, Sarah Mellington. And, you know, I spoke about her pre-game because she is an incredible defender and she just provides that level of athleticism that would be ready to challenge someone like a Moore or a Maddie Allen.
Well done, Sarah Jones. That's definitely a 3D highlight of the day, and that's the damage that a player like Sarah Jones can do with a little bit of confidence. And imagine, had this been dry, I would have seen her taking off a few more of those intercepts of that cross-court pass, and the likes of Sarah Mellington would have been doing the same. And Miani capitalising for that turnover for her defender, so they've nudged one back. We've got a 12-goal ball game here. We've got maybe about 5 minutes to play in this. 3 minutes to play in this fourth quarter action. Sorry about that. And the Tigers girls, they won't like that, conceding a turnover right on their baseline. So Laura Ryan in control, bringing this ball through their mid-third into Laura Irvine. Connects with Casa. And another really clever play. These two just know where each other are at all times.
So, Ree, is this the combination that the Pigeons need to pull out when they take on Cora Rutherglen, Lavington Magpies? You know, we've seen they've had a few losses, particularly to Cora, where they were really in that game for probably about 45 minutes, the 3 quarters, and then slipped. Is the Tilly Kennedy and Sarah Moore combination what they need?
Yeah, quite possibly. And interesting, Jetta Nolan's missing as well from their attacking lineup as well. And Sarah Moore, she is on fire with her shooting today. Credit to her. But yeah, Jetta Nolan as well. So interesting. And I think the benefit for the Yarrawonga girls versing a Coral Rutherglen or a Lavington, whoever they match up with defensively, they kind of know each other really well. So it'll just be a matter of who can get that front position and which players do that. But I expect to see, probably as the weeks progress, Sarah Sanini getting that bit more court time, because after injury as well, you're needing that. So for her to put out an effort like this on a wet court as well is pretty exceptional. And Maddie Allen, we know she can net those kind of mid-range goals really well as well. So I think for the Yarrawonga Pigeon, it just gives them options against something if something needs to change.
Completely agree, Ree. The depth of their bench is excellent and will only help them as they come up against some really tough teams in the next few weeks. So probably about a minute left to go on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. The Tigers just doing everything they can to pull this game back. As Capet takes a throw in just outside of the circle. And again, straight into the hands of Grinter. It's a credit to Grinter. The pass probably also needed to be a little bit higher. But my goodness, she has been good today.
She has, and Liv Lovell did an exceptional job in goalkeeper as well. So I don't think Liv Lovell and Maddie Allen will be upset sitting over there with their jumpers on. It has gotten quite cold over here.
And the blankets, don't forget the blankets, Ree. But yeah, you're right. And having a Liv Lovell on the bench as well to combine with Leslie, who we've seen can do both wing attack and goal defence now, it gives them a lot of options. It does, especially, you know, in a season where COVID's still kind of lurking. You don't really know what's happening. Players are travelling, weather conditions, injury, anything could happen.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't have too many drizzly days like this. This is when it can really change what's happening on court. But as we've seen, the Yarrawonga girls have really chipped away, and come through with the win. So we've got the siren there going for the fourth quarter action here. We've had the Yarrawonga Pigeons a 14-goal win, which is much bigger than what we were expecting. 43 goals, plays 29. The girls are just shaking hands, and Hannah is going to go and grab our Urban Greys Player of the Day. A great game here from the Yarrawonga Pigeons, just to really capitalise on any turnovers, steady head, and probably attributed to their experience. The Tigers girls really in the game up until half time, but just not able to regather some of those spilled balls. So Hannah Davies just chasing after our Urban Greys Player of the Day, which today is Annalise Grinter for the Yarrawonga Pigeons. Tireless effort for her in goal defence and in goalkeeper. So I think her legs will be rather tired. She might have a little bit of a wet dress. Annalise, congratulations, our Urban Greys Player of the Day. Well done.
Thanks, Ree. It was a wet, hard game out there, so yeah.
And I know, talking to a couple of the girls after the last few games, not probably happy with the four-quarter effort. Best four-quarter efforts, would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely the first time we've had... sorry, got it there. Good, sorry. Yes, that's the first time we've had all of our team. So Cez has had a couple of weeks or 5 weeks, I think.
Can we get the mic a little closer to it, do you think?
A little bit. So yeah, for the first 4 quarters we've strung together, the first time we've had a full team.
Yeah, excellent. And the injection of Tilly Kennedy and Cez at halftime, that really made a change, really impact. How do you see yourselves now after that effort against like a Corowa or Lavington?
Well, I've played with Darren for a few years and we never really peak until the end of the season. So the thing that we work on is depth and the fact that if one combination doesn't work, there's a few other options in there. So it allows us that no matter what the change is, whether it's quarter time, half time, there's a whole new team that can come on in different combinations. And there to know that you've got a role to play, and if the matchup doesn't work, there's somebody on the bench to come on that might be a little bit better in that spot. So.
Absolutely, and that's something that Hannah and I commented on during the game, that everyone contributed to that really great win. And though the Tigers girls were right there at halftime just to push and in the conditions as well. Yeah. So congratulations, our Urban Greys Player of the Day. Good luck as the season progresses.
Awesome, thanks so much, guys.
Well, there you have it. The final score here at the Albury Sports Ground, 43 to the Yarrawonga Pigeons take out Albury Tigers 29. A massive resurgence from the Pigeons in that last half. Got to be credit to probably the Tilly Kennedy more coming into the game. I think the rest of the team kind of built the basis of the game, and then those impact players did exactly what they meant to and made an impact.
Yep, and as Annalise alluded to, which it was a little bit muffled, so I don't know if our audience could hear, but Annalise alluded to that's what they've been playing for, is that their 7 players on court, no matter who it is, can just come on, play their role and execute that, which they did. Wet conditions, slippery conditions, we did speak about it would be a matter of who could convert turnover ball and slippery ball and messy ball, and the Yarrawonga Pigeons have come up trumps. There will be some really positive things for the Albury Tigers girls to take away. They were right there till half-time and then probably just fell away, but I think simple errors for them, and they might just need to look back at perhaps their positioning in the ring on this wet day and what they could have done to change that up. But I think that was also credit to the defensive pressure of the Yarrawonga Pigeons that forced them to go to that play every time.
So there we have it. The Yarrawonga Pigeons took down the Albury Tigers. That pushes them nicely into that 3rd place where they've been sitting, and it definitely boosts their confidence. My name's Hannah Davies, and you've been joined by Ree Dolahenti. Ree, we'll see you next week.
I am looking forward to it. Next week marks halfway of the season, so I think there's big things to come, and I've tipped Yarrawonga to still be a really big finals contender, and I think after today they've cemented that.
Well, there you go. This has been O&M Live Netball from McRae Motors, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Zero.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket served with chips, salad, and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between, manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.